Well, hi everyone, welcome to this short video where I'm going to be talking today about Reform UK, and they announced their contract for you, or essentially other political parties during the election would call that a manifesto. I will go through what they are claiming to be their 5 pledges that they're making. Now, they make it very clear at this stage that they're not trying to win this election. They can't do that. They would have to have a number of candidates across the whole country, sufficient to be able to run the whole country, and they're not geared up for doing that. So what they're saying is that their main purpose is to build a strong opposition to whoever the incumbent government will become, and that, Nigel Farage said, will be the Labour Party. So we have to see, obviously during the election, if it is the Labour Party, but all the polls right now are showing that the Labour Party are most likely to win the election unless something dramatic happens in the coming days and weeks. Now, obviously, polls are also beginning to show an improved position for Reform UK. Purely from a polling point of view, it seems that they're hitting the right note with their messages to the public, and they're responding by giving responses in polls that suggest they're heading in the right direction. So what I'm going to do now is just share with you what those pledges are and see what you think, and I'll sort of give you a bit of an idea of what I think too. Let's take a look at these principles that they set out, or their core pledges to you, as they say on page 2 of the manifesto. So our core pledges to you as part of their contract. 14 years of Tory failure are coming to an end. A Labour government would ramp up mass immigration, crime and taxes even further. Labour and the Tories are two sides of the same coin, was essentially kind of what they were trying to say about the large main two parties. So number 1, imagine smart immigration, not mass immigration. All non-essential immigration frozen to boost wages, protect public services and end the housing crisis and cut crime. So clearly there was a big emphasis on immigration. It's something that Nigel Farage personally has talked about a lot, and sort of 4 years ago he spent a lot of time going to the Channel and seeing small boats arriving and making YouTube videos about that. So, you know, he predicted at the time, he saw that increasing, and statistically and factually he was right. It is increasing, and there doesn't appear to be a sensible approach to managing migration or immigration. They don't sort of explicitly say in this pledge how they're going to do it, but they say they're going to freeze it, and then they talk about those consequences of boosting wages, protecting public services and ending the housing crisis and cutting crime as being sort of positive consequences of freezing immigration. Number 2 is imagine no more small boats in the Channel. Illegal migrants who come to the UK will be detained and deported, and if needed, migrants in small boats will be picked up and taken back to France. Now, I don't know how France would deal with that, whether France would allow them to take a boat back to the coast of France and put people back there. I mean, it sounds like it's a kind of common sense thing to do. My question would be, why haven't we done it so far? What's stopping us from picking up those boats as soon as they cross the kind of median line of the Channel and just immediately returning them back to France? What is the story so far on that, and is it possible that they can deliver on this second one? If it is, then it would kind of seem to make sense. Number 3, imagine no NHS waiting lists. Still free at the point of delivery, healthcare needs reform to improve outcomes and enjoy zero NHS waiting lists. Cut back office waste to spend more money on the front line. Tax breaks for doctors and nurses to tackle the staffing crisis. So I have to say I agree here that within the NHS there is a massive opportunity to reduce unnecessary cost and to make the whole proposition smarter. I think the quality as well needs to be improved, and maybe certain, and I'm saying certain because I don't just want to kind of make this as a wide-ranging comment, but certain aspects of the way businesses are run could be employed in the NHS to make it more productive. And there are questions about frontline versus back office. As Richard Tice, if you watch the speeches this morning, if you look back and see what he was saying, he was indicating that, and he did this in a very kind of sort of condensed way by saying that in business there are opportunities to reduce back office and improve front office, was kind of the simplistic paraphrase of what he said. Number 4, imagine good wages for a hard day's work. Lift the income tax starting threshold to 20k to save the lowest paid £1,500 per year. This takes 7 million of the least well-off out of income tax to make work pay and get people off benefits. Now, at a glance, this just seems to be a fantastic benefit for a lot of people who are working and are being taxed at fairly low levels, and also people who are not working and taking pension income and are being taxed at a fairly low level. So just on the face of it, this seems to me like a really good proposal, a really clear proposal. Now, I don't know, and I haven't been able to work through yet any of the substantiation of how this would be funded. Can they find sufficient money? Richard Tice seemed to be suggesting, by removing net zero, etc., that funds could be found to be able to lift this income tax starting threshold to 20k. If it can, and this is what would be an amazing result for many people, particularly at the moment with the cost of living crisis, then again, number 4 sounds like a fantastic common sense proposal. And then number 5, imagine affordable, stable energy bills. Scrap energy levies and net zero to slash energy bills and save each household £500 per year. Unlock Britain's vast oil and gas reserves to beat the cost of living crisis and unleash real economic growth. Now, assuming all of the sort of foundation of this particular pledge is true, that there are, vast oil and gas reserves, and we are importing oil and gas, then again, this just seems to make perfectly common sense. I do wonder why our current government isn't already doing these things. I mean, they just seem like, a lot of these statements do seem like very sensible things to be doing. So that is those are the 5 pledges that Reform UK, with Nigel Farage speaking today and with Richard Tice speaking today, outlined for what would be an opportunity in this election to, as they described it, sort of build this, or at least indicate to the main parties that there was a serious opposition, and that people in their masses, if they so choose to vote, would be indicating that they didn't necessarily support the current proposals from either Conservative or Labour. That's it for this short video. Thank you very much for watching. Do take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye for now.